Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be installing some Raptor style LED tail lights by Mabett. These are the iconic 4-pod LED tail lights that you'll find on the Bronco Raptor. Let's get them installed and check them out.
A big thank you to Mabett for providing the product for this video. These new LED tail lights really do mimic the Bronco Raptor tail lights, with the upper and lower LED pods on each tail light, and the white LED bar for the reverse and the zone lighting. On the underside is an OEM style connector, and then a resistor to stop any hyperflashing. You will be transferring the tail light mounting bracket from your OEM tail lights to these ones. You'll see that later in the video. There are also some zip ties if you want to tidy up the wiring. The first step is to remove these 3 annoying Phillips retaining clips. Be patient, don't put a lot of pressure on them as you're unscrewing them, and they'll all come out. Once you've completed that, you can go ahead and remove your fender flare. There are 5 clips that you rotate 180 degrees, and then you just pull off the fender flare. Next, you're going to put your fingers underneath that little flap that you just undid, and you're going to pull this panel towards you. It is tight, but persevere and it'll come off. And pulling from the back edge here, you can unclip it really easily. Now you're going to remove this 10mm bolt. Now with that removed, you can reach your hand behind and pull this panel towards you. It has 3 white retaining clips on the back. Now you're going to remove these 2 8mm bolts. As you can see, the bolt did drop down the back there. You will be able to get out afterwards, don't panic. Now you remove this 10mm bolt on the upper left hand side. This bolt is longer than the other bolts. Now you can simply pull the tail light towards you and then unclip the OEM harness. It was actually 32 degrees in my garage when I was doing this, so that clip was a little bit awkward to get pressed in and pulled off. But finally I was able to get it detached. You're now going to remove these 4 7mm bolts, remove the backing plate and transfer it to the new LED tail light. You need to remove the OEM connector from the mounting plate. You can now remove the connector and the wiring harness from the OEM mounting plate, and then pull the mounting plate over the connector. You need to feed the OEM style connector through the mounting plate, and then rest it on top of the new LED tail light. You use the original 7mm bolts and tighten down the mounting plate. Feed the wiring harness through the little clip on the side there, and then mount the connector to the mounting base. And then tuck any excess wiring down. Here you can use the zip ties if you want to. Now you can slide the tail light in place. Push the connector together and then align the tail light with the opening. It just slots in place really nicely. Before you bolt anything down, you want to make sure that these tail lights are working. You want to make sure all the LEDs are lit up and that all of the functions of the tail lights work. I checked out the running lights, the brake lights, the flashers and the zone lighting. You can now bolt them in the reverse order, so put in that 10mm left hand bolt. Make them snug, but don't over tighten them, you don't want to break those tabs. Next is the two 8mm bolts. Now you can reinstall that trim piece. It just clips back into place. And don't forget that 10mm bolt at the bottom. And to finish off, here is the trim panel. Press it in from the left-hand side first, and then kind of pull it towards you and push it over to the right to get it lined up with the slots on the right-hand side. And don't forget to put those 3 annoying Phillips head retaining clips back in. And now you can put your fender flare back on, line it up, clip it in place, and rotate those 5 retaining clips underneath. Here's a comparison of the Raptor style LED taillight on the left and the OEM LED taillight on the right. Now you're going to follow the same steps on the other side. It's a little bit trickier with the door hinges in the way, but fundamentally it's the same process. And again, before you bolt everything down, just make sure that the taillights are functioning exactly as you expect them to. Once you've made sure they're all working, you can now insert the 4 bolts and the 2 trim panels. I have to admit, when I pulled this trim panel off, due to the extreme cold, the plastic clips came away from the trim panel. I had to actually glue them back in place. They're initially held together with plastic welds from Ford, so not the strongest in the first place, but hopefully the super glue will hold them in place. There you go, fully installed and a really nice look to the back of the Bronco. Here's what the reverse and zone lighting lights look like.
As you can see, these are Raptor style. They are not Raptor taillights, they're Raptor style taillights, and they have that iconic 4-pod LED look. They fit incredibly well. In fact, the right-hand side one fits better than my factory taillight. It was off from the factory, and now that I've switched that base, they fit so much better. I'm really impressed with the light output. They've got the driving lights, the brake lights, turn signals, all in those 2 units on each tail light. They also work really well with the zone lighting. I've shown that they light up nice and bright. Now, I did notice a review that said that these point outwards slightly, and that's true. They are Raptor style taillights, but if you look at the actual mechanism, the lighting board for these, they point directly behind you. So the style is similar to the Raptor taillights. They do point outwards slightly, but the main lighting boards do face the back of the vehicle. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.